Alright, what is up everybody? Sam here with another video for Nomad Survival, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most enjoyable classes in the game. That's going to be the Knight. The Knight is one of the newer classes that just came out with the 4th upgrade, and the Knight and the Whisper, which are the two classes that came out then, are very fun classes. So the Knight, for this, all you have to do is defeat the final boss of the 3rd map, so basically it requires 3rd map completion. This is one of the harder ones just because the 3rd map definitely ramps up in difficulty for some players, so it is worthwhile unlocking, I will say. The Knight is a fantastic class. The Knight, as the 8th character, has an SP cost of 800, which is significantly higher, but it's fair because this ability is absolutely bonkers. Basically, when your ability goes off, it's called Provoke. For 5 seconds, enemies will run towards you quicker. They get to pack more tightly together. So normally there's like collision with enemies, but with the Knight, you can actually get them even closer packed basically. And your defense is doubled. So as this effect is going, you're taking all this damage, and then you actually explode and you deal damage to the enemies equal to how much damage you would have taken. And then you recover 4 HP for every enemy hit. This includes the Berserker Heritage, so this is one of those ways to heal outside of any other type of HP regen for the Berserker. And Spectral Sword, it doesn't actually help you recover HP, and it only does half the damage, which is totally fair. You output so much damage with this class, I have to say. And then at level 20 and level 40, all it does is increase the amount of HP per enemy hit. I will say that the enemy that the HP that you get back for hitting enemies for this class, it's really not that impactful, honestly. At least I've never noticed it being very substantial. It's helped in a couple of different, like, really hard modifier runs that I've done, but not to a point where I think it made or broke the actual effect. So I do hope that with the beta updates, there's a change here, because I don't think HP is really that important in regards to this class. When it comes to heritages, Knight is definitely the best statue combination. Knight statue, it's the best way to form coins and souls. This is how you're going to get the most amount of enemies coming towards you at the same time. The Knight in general is the best class for farming coins and souls, so the Knight is just fantastic. Merchant is really good on the Knight because you can win every single map with almost all of the modifiers on, just purely relying on the weapon skill. So the only negative is that sometimes for the harder modifiers, like 120 plus, you really need certain defensive weapon skills, and the Merchant really doesn't help you out there. As always, with the Summoner, if you're having any issues with projectiles, the Summoner's pretty good. The Voidwalker, actually a really good choice here, because as the enemies hit you, the Voidwalker Heritage will deal damage to them. So it's nice because it helps with clear, but also not really the most important thing in the world. Poxbringer is actually one of the most interesting combinations with this class. So originally the class didn't have any knockback when it exploded, and I wouldn't have recommended the Poxbringer, but now with the knockback from the ability, it gives you time to actually deal that Poxbringer damage. So Poxbringer, the double damage, totally worthwhile, and you don't have the negative of not being able to regen HP. The Berserker Heritage, I mean, it's really nice. Also, I like how all of these pixels, like the sprites, look fantastic for the Knight. But the Berserker, I personally don't think that the HP regen from the Knight strictly off the ability is worth it, so I don't recommend the Berserker. I think the Poxbringer for double damage works fantastic. And then the Nomad, it's always my favorite. The Nomad's the best. What can I say? The Nomad's too good. So I'll just go Nomad, because I would go statue, but that would just defeat the purpose. You don't really get to see anything. And then, like always, I'd recommend something that helps you get XP. So Raccoon, Immaterial Cloak level 5, or Psychokinesis. But Psychokinesis has kind of fallen off as my go-to when it comes to anything like that. Colorless Glyph is a great combination for this character. Since you're drawing in the enemies towards you, Colorless Glyph is really strong. You can basically make it to where, especially on like the 2nd and the 3rd map, that you don't have to worry about anything for the first like 5-10 minutes with Colorless Glyph. And with the Knight's ability to bring everything towards you, this is just going to increase the amount of experience you get exponentially. This is one of the best ways to farm because more enemies are coming to you and dying, and because each map has a specific number of enemies that can be spawned at any time, having the knight makes it to where you are always spawning the most amount of enemies possible. In regards to like what weapon skills and passives you want to go, really depends on how you want to play it. I always generally play the knight as a more defensive character, so I will pick up things like Colorless Glyph, obviously. I'll pick up Ascension. I will pick up Miniaturize for the evasion. SP regen is also really important because you want to be casting your ability as often as possible. Spectral Sword is one of those interesting ones because it's obviously not drawing enemies towards it. Like, it doesn't have that effect. It doesn't bring them towards the sword, but it does deal significant amounts of damage, especially on the modifier runs. So I do recommend going Spectral Sword. You don't have to level it up like crazy, but get it to a pretty decent level because it's worthwhile damage wise. I just put up a video. It's 120 times gemstone modifier run using the knight. Just wanted to show that you don't have to play the whisper to cheese through everything, and it was half of my damage, the Spectral Sword. So I really recommend it with this class. It might not seem like it does a lot, but it really does. The additional explosion is pretty huge. And then with modifier runs or just playing characters where you don't move often anyways, I always recommend Death Sting, Colorless Glyph, and Purifying Circle. Those three in combination are a really strong just trio of making sure things die immediately. And as you're drawing all these enemies towards you, those abilities are only based around you. They're always constantly going off for the most part. Purifying Circle is obviously a little bit slower, but if you get it up to level 10, it's pretty constant. And if you're lucky enough to get the relic also, pretty constant. So as you can see, we're not having any issues here. This is just free farming. It's a great way to get souls. It's a great way to get coins if you're playing with the raccoon also. So if those are two things that you're trying to get, really recommend the knight. If you're trying to do gemstones also, the knight can handle almost any modifier. So in general, I recommend the knight for everyone. These two new characters are significantly stronger than some of the other characters, and they also have just some of the nicest abilities, honestly. Very well thought out. I don't want to say it's overpowered because you can see how it could be a negative, but with the state of the game right now without modifiers, the knight's just super strong. So if you're struggling with any achievement, I recommend the knight for it. It's going to make your life a lot easier, and you're not going to have to worry about anything. You'll clear this map without moving, without a doubt. You don't have to go kill the portals. You don't have to go run to the bosses. You don't have to run away from the bosses. You will very easily clear this map without moving, and you can do the same exact thing for the first and third map. So overall, the knight is up there as one of my favorite classes. As always, guys, I really appreciate the support, and I will see you on the next one.